what I really don't need is like a big heaping dose of literary depression. Yep, I said, but what I really meant is I love you and you're killing me, and then I hung up. The bookmarks are here. That is what 159 Grace and Honey orders looks like. That especially like throughout the last few days, some nights I'm very drunk. Is the first day of the Bookoplathon and I have never been so hyped in my life. I'm filming the intro to this straight off the back of the end of last week's vlog, where you can see just how excited I am that it's the 1st of September in general, because I love autumn. I think September is probably my favorite month because it starts off as like the tail end of summer, so it's still pretty warm out, the weather's still pretty nice, but then you start to get that little bit of cold creeping in towards the end, and it's just a great transitional period. It's a transitional month. I love it so much and I'm feeling great. I've had a pumpkin spice latte, I'm wearing a jacket. Considering today hasn't actually been that productive for me yet and it is like nearly 3 p.m. I'm having a great time. I started off with therapy this morning as well, and considering I started off with therapy this morning, I'm feeling great because that normally makes me anxious. I get anxious about fixing my anxiety. Let's puzzle that one out. So I'm currently sat in the wreckage of all of the Bookopoly orders that need to go out, and I am actually quite stressed about the fact that these have not gone out yet. I need to try tomorrow when the bookmarks finally arrive. I need to try and get 130 orders out of my house, like quick fire. So wish me luck on that front. And my plan for the rest of the day is to film all of my videos for this week and next week, which is only 2. So fingers crossed it shouldn't be so hard, but one of them is my wrap up, which I feel like I need to psych myself up to film my wrap up, which is why I'm filming vlog clips right now as like a bit of a warm up, I guess, just because they tend to, like, you know me, I go on and I go on and I go on. So yeah, I feel like I always need to prepare myself a little bit before I film that. But it's the first day of the Bookoplathon. If you have no idea what that is, I will put I'll put a link in my description box. Yep, I'll put a link in my description box and I'll link it up here as well to the announcement video. It is a readathon that I host that is based on my TBR game, Bookopoly, and you essentially can play your own game. So everyone has different prompts because you're generating them yourself, and we all have a cracking good time throughout the month of September. So I'm doing sprints. Okay, get this. You know how anxious I get about social interaction and constant live shows, but I'm feeling great. As you can tell, I swear I'm not on drugs. But I'm doing sprints tonight, public ones. I have Patreon sprints tomorrow, and then I have a 24-hour readathon for my cadre and inner circle patrons on Saturday and Sunday. So it's 4 days of sprints for me, and because of that, I am hoping to get so much read. But we will see. We'll see if it works. This is my September TBR. I have just moved it so that I could put my books down for my wrap up. Essentially, it's split into 2 sections. We have these 3, which are my Goldsboro books for the next installment of the Goldsboro Science Fiction and Fantasy Fellowship Worth My Money vlog series that I do. Essentially, we're not going to worry about these right now. And we're not going to worry about these until after I finished Assassin's Fate, which isn't on my Bookopoly TBR. But the live show for this is assumedly, I actually need to message the Elderling Along chat and finalize a date for this now. But assumedly I have to have this read for the 18th. So my plan is to bring you guys a vlog now that lasts maybe until a week on Sunday, and then do 1 more weekly vlog. And then by that point, the last day of that weekly vlog should be the day of this live show. And then we're gonna follow it up with the Goldsboro vlog. So my plan for this, which I am maybe going to be starting today. This is the last book in the realm of the Eldlings. It is the thickest book on my TBR, and it's one that I have to read. It is 853 pages, and I'm scared of it. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the realm of the Eldlings, we're going to do the spiel. If you're not new here, I'm sorry, you have to listen to this again. But it is an extended universe created by Robin Hobb, and for the 1st, 3rd and 5th trilogy, or series, because one isn't a trilogy, we're following a guy called Fitz. And we start off when he's like 6 or 8 years old. He's dropped off on the doorstep of a keep by his maternal grandfather, who says that he wants him to go back to his father, who is actually the prince-in-waiting, Prince Chivalry. So Fitz is shipped off to Bookkeep, which is where the seat of the crown is. And when Chivalry finds out that Fitz is approaching, he abdicates the throne and moves to the countryside with his wife. So this leaves Fitz in a little bit of an awkward position where nobody really knows what to do with him. So he's raised by the stable master Burrich up until he comes of an age where the king starts to take an interest in in him and trains him to become the royal assassin. So at this point, he's 60. It's the final book. I feel like everyone's gonna die and it's gonna break me, but it has to be done. I'm in such an excited reading mood right now. What I really don't need is like a big heaping dose of literary depression, but it has to be done. So because this isn't on my Bookopoly TBR, I think what I want to do is read 50 pages a day, because if the live show is on the 18th, 50 pages a day would have me done by the 17th, providing I stick to that schedule. We'll see how the month goes. I'll probably read up to like chapter 3 today, which is page 42. So currently this clip is 7 minutes long and I haven't really given you much information at all really. But aside from this, which we want to read 50 pages a day of, I started Magnolia Parks and I'm so excited. I've spoken about this quite a lot in my recent video, so I feel like if you're up to date, like you will know the extent of my knowledge of this book. Essentially the reason why I want to read this so bad, why I'm so excited, is that it's an unconventional romance in that it doesn't have to end with a happily ever after or a happy for now. It's the first book in a series, so there is a trilogy and I know at least one book follows a different character, but this has also been described as like a British Gossip Girl. So it's set in London, but it has all of those like glitzy designer vibe. It's just a Gossip Girl, you know. Gossip Girl was a whole vibe back in the day, and I'm actually expecting this to be toxic as fuck. I'm here for it. So this is literally top of my TBR and I'm so happy that I'm actually prioritizing something at the top of my TBR for once, and I'm just reading it right now because I'm desperate to. Like I said, we have reading sprints tonight. They are going to be dice sprints, which as you guys know, if you roll a double you have to switch books, which I actually think is perfect because that means that I can switch between these two if we get doubles. And I think I might start with this one because I don't want to start with this one and then go to this one and then roll a double and have to go back to this even though I've already read my section. So we might start, I don't know, but these are the two books that I'm starting with anyway. You probably won't hear too much about my thoughts on this until I get like a good chunk of the way through, so it'll be a few days, whereas with this one I'm super hyped, so you'll probably be hearing about this one a lot more. Both of these books were gifted to me actually, so thank you so much to Ashley for sending me Assassin's Fate, and a big thank you to Ash for sending me Magnolia Parks when you knew just like how desperately I wanted it. And as this is the first Bookoplathon vlog, I should probably let you guys know that this is actually on my Bookoplathon TBR for the Prompt Summer, which is a book that has summary vibes to the person who's picking the book.
Tell me everything. My boy in second half with no wedding ring. Play a song by Mayday Parade. It's called Terrible Things. Silly little boy, you wanna spend your life chasing waterfalls with all the tears you crying. I don't wanna.
So first day of sprints done. I am gonna read a little bit more when I get into bed, but I have made it 102 pages into Magnolia Parks and I'm not obsessed yet, but these two are just super toxic to each other and really messy, and it's very dramatic, which is exactly what I thought it was going to be. So I'm definitely enjoying those aspects. Like the sentence that I just read, yep, I said, but what I really meant is I love you and you're killing me, and then I hung up, and it's just that drama that I'm living for. So I'll tell you a little bit more about it in the morning, but so far so good. It's Friday night. I'm on Patreon sprints with Miss Aaron, and I've put Magnolia Parks down to get in my 50 pages of Assassin's Fate by Robin Hobb, and I just opened, I didn't even make it to the first page, okay? I didn't even make it to the map. We got to the acknowledgements. I already can't cope. I don't want to read this book anymore. The bookmarks are here. Finally, this is the moment of truth where we find out whether they're actually sendable or not, because I've never ordered from this supplier before. So I am terrified. I hope you all like your bookmarks slightly nibbled on. Fucking dog. Oh my god. Oh my god. They're fine. I'm so happy. Well, I need to actually check them because they're double-sided, but oh my god. Oh my god. They're so nice. Oh, they're nice. Also, Brie has stolen the box and is currently ragging it around the room, but oh my god, I'm so happy.
Honey, I like moving out of state. I went out of my mind. Took a few nights, blew all my money without even trying. You said follow dreams, Didn't want to leave as much as you wanted. I'll go so I can face my fear, knowing you'll never care if I'm alone. Cause I couldn't sleep when you said it's everything else in your life, didn't care about anything. Middle of the week, 40 ounce, and I'm dancing in the street, like you're now waking up in another person's room. Both know it's toxic, turn the clock back to the
That is what 159 Grace and Honey orders looks like. I managed these in about 6 hours, so I'm proud of myself. Still have 11 left to go. I did run out of boxes, but they will all be done Tuesday, and that is a massive weight off my chest. I don't know how. We're gonna get these to the post office on Monday though. I'm not sure if we're going to get all of these in the car, to be honest, but we might have to do multiple trips. I think it's about time that I gave you guys a reading update. I am not too far into Assassin's Fate, which is the book that I'm currently reading. The 24-hour readathon with my Cadre and Inner Circle patrons has just started. We don't have a prompt this time because with it being the Bookoplathon, I thought, like, why would I add a prompt into the mix that might not be onto people's TBRs when it just kind of makes sense to say, like, progress with whatever Bookopoly prompt you're working on throughout the 24 hours. So I'm still going with the 2 books that I started this week. I didn't read 50 pages of this on the first. I started yesterday, got to page 60, which was the end of a chapter, and then my aim for today is to get to page 104, which will have me 5 chapters in. And I'm enjoying this enough so far. It is taking me a little while to get back into it because the secondary perspective that isn't Fitz I found to be really interesting in the first book in this trilogy. In the second book, I didn't like it as much, but it also wasn't as present as the first book. And in this one, it is super present again, where it's like every other chapter, but it's still not as interesting as it was to start off with. What are you doing? What are you doing? I feel like she's trying to pick a book. So the other book that I have currently started is, of course, Magnolia Parks. I'm on page 154 of this out of, wow, it's 500 pages, which I feel like I knew, but I also forgot. So I'm not quite halfway through and I am enjoying this, but the tone of it is very different than I expected it to be. So this is a story of Magnolia Parks and BJ Ballantyne. And also I keep singing the song, is it Forever the Sickest Kids or is it We the Kings? I need to know. I'm gonna sing for you and it's gonna be awful. Is it Mayday Parade? It's Machine Gun Kelly. It's My Bloody Valentine by Machine Gun Kelly. Oh my god, as if I forgot that. But I keep singing like, you're my BJ Ballantyne to the tune of My Bloody Valentine by Machine Gun Kelly. And it's really irritating me every time I say his name in my head. That's what happens. But they have been best friends for a very, very long time. And they're kind of one of those couples, like childhood sweethearts, that are always destined to be together and that everyone knew was going to be together forever. And they were together for a few years from being teenagers up until being around like 18, 19. And BJ actually cheated on Magnolia and she's pretty much never forgiven him. So it's both very obvious that they're still into each other to the point where nobody ever really knew that they broke up in terms of like the wider world. So to the public and the outside world, everyone still pretty much treats them as a couple because they are literally so close. But they have this really toxic relationship where they won't just admit their feelings, and Magnolia will never say that she forgives BJ. BJ will never try and be a better person so they can get back together. So what happens instead is Magnolia will date other people and make BJ jealous, and BJ will sleep with other girls to upset Magnolia. And then after that, they'll both go home and end up sleeping in the same bed and nothing's happening. Like they don't even cuddle or anything, but it's just a very kind of twisted relationship that they have. The writing in here is super melodramatic. I think Magnolia is around 22 and BJ is a couple of years older than her, but they have like teenage infatuation, like the kind of relationship where if one of them doesn't text the other one back in like a couple of hours, then they want to die and it's like the end of the world and the most tragic thing to ever happen to them, which I'm actually really enjoying it for the angst level. But like, this book is for people with a particular kind of reading taste where you really need to be able to lean into the drama and not take anything too seriously, because these people are like the upper class, like people that have never worked a full day in their lives and they make jokes and are really flippant about it. Every other word in here is like a name drop of a designer label, and they are both just like truly unsufferable people. That being said, I am really enjoying it. I'm not at the point where I'm obsessed yet, but I'm having a good time, and I do really like especially the writing style and also the melodrama in here with like the teenage infatuation kind of angle on it and how dramatic that kind of makes the writing.
You don't gotta give a fuck about mine. pretty words, but you're just undecided. And now life's so right. Funny looking back, but we're so misguided. Whoa, you made me not believe in us.
So there is around 3 minutes left of my final sprint of the evening, but I just had to pop in real quick and let you know that I'm suddenly very invested in this. I'm a little bit scared. I don't know what's happened. I'm on page 192, so I've only read like 50 pages, but all of a sudden I just, oh god. There's like a bit of a fake dating trope in here, but I don't know whether it's not a fake dating within like Magnolia and BJ. So I don't know whether the trope counts if it's not like part of what I'm assuming is the main relationship. But obviously going into this, I knew that it was an unconventional romance, meaning that Magnolia and BJ don't necessarily end up together. So there's that. But like, it's just got to a point and they've been fucking each other over this entire time and they're not even in a relationship, but now it's got to the point where when they're fucking each other over, it's really bothering me, especially if I'm reading it from BJ's perspective. I'm really excited to continue. After these sprints, I have the choice of either getting up sometime between 6 and 7 a.m. in the morning or staying up now, and I don't know which to do because essentially Curtis is out tomorrow, which means he'll be up at about 8:30, so I have to get up at the same time as him anyway, but because he's going out, that will leave me with Bree to look after, and also I'll have to walk her before my sprints start again at midday. And I also don't have a video ready for tomorrow. I have footage I can edit, but I haven't started editing it, and it's only like 20 minutes of footage, so like tomorrow I feel like it will be difficult because I'll have to work around Bree to try and get it up before midday, whereas I feel like I could knock it out in like half an hour, 40 minutes now, but I'm really tired, so I don't know what to do. Just a quick little update in case any of you were desperately curious. I did decide to stay up and edit my video, and I don't regret it because it only took me 40 minutes to edit, and not even that actually because it's exported and I'm currently uploading it. I love a quick video. They don't come around often, but when they do, it's a great time. You can 100% at this point say that I am indeed invested. I am indeed obsessed with Magnolia Parks. Like, oh my god. I'm 292 pages in, so I still have like 215 pages left. And it just keeps getting messier and messier. The last 100 pages have been wild. Like, so much drama. I audibly gasped last night when I was reading a chapter in bed. These two are just so... they could be so good for each other, but they're just so bad for each other. And you know, two people being toxic to each other, if you want to go and be toxic to each other by yourself and like not affect anyone else, then fine, go off, I don't care. But they just pull everybody into their orbit. Their friendship group is very much dependent on the moods and the whims of BJ and Magnolia, because if they're fighting, the friendship group is fighting because they're picking sides. If they're good, then everyone can take a breath and it's calm. They're bringing people, including their friends, into this sordid little war that they have with each other to get one up on each other. So all of these people are just caught in the crossfire of Magnolia and BJ, and it is wild. I'm living for it. Like I've said, it takes a particular taste to enjoy a book like this. I definitely understand the comparison to like Taylor's Red album. This is for sure the 10-minute version of All Too Well, and it's that level of like angst and drama and like heartbreak, but also love, but it's like fucked up and not healthy, but it's like so entertaining to watch. And the way that it's written, the way that the metaphor is used, and it really just takes you back to that place of teenage infatuation. But oh my god, I don't know how it can continue to escalate further. I'm like halfway through this and I'm already shooketh every couple of chapters because of what these two are doing to themselves, each other, and everyone around them. I just feel like it's gonna get worse, but I'm like so invested. I kind of wish I'd made a spoiler vlog on this. I didn't think it was necessary when I started, and now I can't quite be bothered. But oh my god, it's good. I also received a parcel from Amazon yesterday and Curtis opened it because he's rude, and Ash has actually sent me Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings, which is the sequel to Magnolia Parks that is following Christian, who is part of like their friendship group, and Daisy Hates, who we've only seen briefly because she's not part of their friendship group. But there's a lot of stuff going on with Christian and his brother Jonah that isn't explained on page. I think they're gang lords, but they very much skirt around what it is that Christian and Jonah actually do. So I am interested in finding out more about that. But the font is short. It's a shorter book, but the font is smaller in this one, and it also has footnotes, which is interesting. So I'm really excited to get to this. I mean, I still have half of this one left, so who knows, I might hate it by the end, but I'm having a real good time right now.
Funny looking back, but we're so misguided. Whoa,
Good evening. Well, it's 5 p.m. so like late afternoon. I've just clocked off. I've had a terrible day, guys, and my makeshift tripod today is probably the worst one, or at least the most precarious one that I've ever constructed. You're now on a fairy loot box, 2 like letterbox size boxes, a mug, and then like you're on top of the mug. So if you fall over, I'm sorry, but I'm just done. So I woke up really early today. My sleeping pattern's been slipping a little bit. Nothing too dramatic. It's just I'm waking up more around like 8:30, where I actually have recently realized over the last few months that I really like getting up at 7, half 7. And I had a lot of stuff that I really wanted to do, and there was a possibility that I could have had tomorrow off. So I thought if I get up early, get my shit together before 9 a.m, then I can have tomorrow off and it'll be great, and do a little bit of like home stuff, because we've got some stick-on tiles for like the marble, like to cover the orange marble in the living room, and I just really want to find some time to actually sort that out because it's been a long time coming. So yeah, I had grand plans for today. I had a very large but very manageable to-do list, and I had a video where I had like 10 minutes and a sponsored segment to edit. So I started off my day with that because I thought it would be really easy, and there was a corrupt file in this 53-minute vlog. It's last week's vlog, and I just didn't know where it was, but every time I tried to export it, let me just reposition you, and I didn't know what file it was snagging on, but every time I tried to export it, it was catching at 74% and not progressing any further onwards. I found out it was a clip of Hamilton in the end, because of course it was, like nobody else is a bigger pain in my arse, but it took me 4 hours to do that when it should have probably been like a 30 to 14-minute job just exporting that and getting it uploaded. So I've pretty much done about half of everything that I wanted to do today, and I was getting really frustrated in the afternoon, and to the point where like I've made myself tired by getting really stressy about it. I have found just an update on my mental health because I'm feeling a lot better. I'm doing a lot better. I feel like you guys can tell, but if you guys know how I've been over the last few months, my anxiety is way more manageable, but I have noticed that over the last couple of weeks I'm developing rage issues. It's obviously not ideal, but I haven't actually read much either. I'm still wherever I was on Sunday night in Magnolia Parks, didn't even pick it up yesterday. I'm only 166 pages into Assassin's Fate, so my aim for the rest of the day is to get to page 200 in this and read some Magnolia Parks. So as you can probably tell, I don't have a reading update, but I do have several things I need to show to you guys. So a bunch of things have arrived. I did get a Waterstones parcel this morning. I've been on sprints all day with my patrons. They were really tight sprints actually. It was dice sprints, so however long the dice told me to, with a 10-minute break in between, and it worked so well. I've had a terrible day, but my patrons have been a dream. I did open a couple of parcels for them this morning because I was really excited because I had no idea what I was getting. I did get a Waterstones parcel, and I was thinking that it was one of these books that I'm waiting for in the like £150 order that I placed. That is rude, lady. It wasn't. It was my pre-order of Amarian the Great Game that I pre-ordered a very long time ago, at least at the beginning of the year. So some things are still getting through from Waterstones. I'm still getting pre-orders, or some pre-orders, but I'm apparently still not getting any of the indies out of that really large order that I placed. So this I think was released at the beginning of September. It's a middle grade, the sequel to Amari and the Night Brothers, but it's about this girl whose brother goes missing, and she ends up going to, it's kind of like a spy school, I guess, or like there's different areas that you can specialize in, and she chooses to go down like the super spy route, and throughout the progression of the first book she gets closer and closer to like what may have happened to her brother. Really excited to pick that up at some point, although I really am gonna have to refresh myself on Amari and the Night Brothers. And I also got a lovely parcel from Moonstar Emporium. These were sent to me by Chloe, who sent me a message on Instagram and was like, thank you for all you do with your channel, which honestly is so sweet. I want to send you some bookmarks that I have in my Etsy shop, that I sell in my Etsy shop, just as a thank you. Like, you don't need to show them or anything, but obviously I'm going to. I'm also going to put Chloe's shop, Etsy shop, down in my description box. So the little note says, hi Becca, hope you're well, tried to pick the bookmarks I thought you would most like. Of course the SJ math had to be included. Hope you have a great Bookoplathon. I'm already 1 book down. Hope you love the bookmarks. Honestly wish I was 1 book down, but thank you so much to Chloe for these. So as Chloe just mentioned, she has sent me the Sarah J Maas ones. So we have Bryce, Feyre, Aylin. These are seasonal ones. We then have a whole bunch of like miscellaneous and seasonal ones. So there's winter. I think that one is spring. Yeah, spring, autumn, summer, and then a couple of more. They're really pretty. I love the art style on these. They're gorgeous. Obviously my favorite one is the Bryce one, but I also love this one because of this girl's vibe. She's gorgeous. So as I said, Chloe's shop is Moonstar Emporium, and I will put a link to it down in my description box. And thank you so much for sending these to me. I don't need any bookmarks, but do I love bookmarks? Yes. We all know that I do. And then the final thing I've had for quite some time. I don't have any scissors though. It's the adult fairy loo. We all know it's Babbel. This was delivered a little bit later. I think it's because of the release date on Babbel. It was delayed a little bit, but essentially it missed my normal unboxing video. But that doesn't really matter because I paid for it. I just like to make sure that my rep packages are in my unboxing videos, and then if anything turns up late, especially because this is just book only, then I can stick it in here, you know. And like with the last time I did an unboxing in a vlog, I know that some people don't like unboxings in vlogs. I don't like doing unboxings in vlogs, but it is just the one. So this one is going to be Babbel by RF Kong. Oh, she black and white. Oh, she gold. Oh no, she's like pretty white. Wow. With gold foiling, which is really pretty. Oh, those edges. Look at that edge. Both the Illumicrate and the Fairy Loot editions of this are absolutely gorgeous. We also have exclusive end pages, and oh, I really like the bright color that looks like almost gold against the black and the white. It's really pretty. And is this a printed hardcover? It is. Oh, I like this one. I like the underneath of this one more than I like the Illumicrate one, I think. That's really pretty. But then the Illumicrate one has the slipcase. That one's gorgeous as well. Do we have a signature? Yes. Signed by the author. So gorgeous, gorgeous Fairy Loot edition. I'm glad that I finally opened that because it's just been on my floor for probably about a week now, but I have a copy of this, so even if I was going to read it anytime soon, didn't have to read this edition, so I wasn't in a massive hurry. But yeah, that's today's mail. Everything will be linked in the description box. And yeah, I'm hoping that I can give you, actually no, I'm not hoping I can give you a reading update soon. I'm hoping that I can finish a book soon. Also, just while this is here, my best friend Ryan makes mugs that have like a custom book stack on, and it just like repeats and wraps around, so I'll put his shop in the description box as well if you want to check these out. This is one of his orders. They're actually fulfilled by Curtis because Curtis, as you guys know, makes some mugs, which is how we have the Bookoplathon ones, etc. And Ryan's a bit of a cheeky git, so he asked me to take pretty photos for his Instagram before it gets sent off to his customer. So I'll stick that down there as well. It was just here, so I thought I might as well show you.
Moved to a city where they don't know LA. I was being nice and I needed a change of pace. I believed in your hopes, you needed the most. Held back my own cause I always came second. So why would you think that I left you alone? We go in circles, we go in circles, we go in circles, we go in circles. You were yourself on the weak side track. You were not friendly, you and your vices. You leaned on print and I tried my best, but if you what you needed was the time. Because I couldn't sleep when you said it's everything else in your life. Didn't care about anything. Another week, 40 hours, and I'm dancing in the street like you're not waking up in another.
Yes, we have people we need to talk to now. I really just want to, oh no! So it's taken me a while. We've been struggle bussing, but I have finally finished Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, and I did enjoy it. It's not that I wasn't enjoying it that was stopping me from finishing it sooner. It's that this is an incredibly slow book and I have to dedicate some time to reading a little bit of this every day, which means that especially like throughout the last few days, some nights I haven't even gotten around to reading any of this. So I gave this one 4 stars in the end. The thing that I really liked about this is that it's full of so much drama. Like 100% in this book, we are following a bunch of little rich idiots. And their problems, a lot of their problems aren't problems. A lot of the stuff they're doing is really dramatic. BJ and Magnolia wouldn't even have any issues if they just communicate with each other. And if they weren't both too prideful and stubborn to kind of just give in and communicate. But it was entertaining and I loved love the drama. I love the plot twists. A lot of the characters definitely fell over the top, and there's nothing really about this. Well, I've never been an insanely rich person with an insanely rich family that goes to high society events, but I would assume that there is absolutely nothing about this that is even remotely realistic. It is like Chuck and Blair from Gossip Girl at that absolute messiest. You know when Blair is dating that prince and Chuck is just stumbling around drunk all the time because she doesn't want to be with him? It is that level of drama and messiness and angst in here that did really do it for me. But I absolutely 100% would understand why somebody wouldn't want to read this, because it is also a little bit tedious and monotonous at times with the back and forth of how they're just stuck in this loop of doing the same stupid shit over and over and over again. But it was a good time, and I really like Jessa Hastings' writing style with the really heavy melodramatic angsty metaphor. There are elements of the writing style that I didn't like. A quirk of Magnolia's personality is that she always knows what everyone's wearing, so she will describe down to the brand what somebody's wearing as soon as she sees them. But I definitely liked the way that the emotion was heightened in here through the use of metaphor. So this is finally my first Bookopoly book down, and this one was to fulfill the prompt summer. Speaking about angsty, messy and dramatic, Assassin's Fate right now. I am 268 pages into this, and oh my god, this book is making the entire 15 books that come before it worth it. And I'm not saying they're not worth it, because individually the majority of them are all compelling, interesting books that I mainly gave 4 or 5 stars to. I don't think, oh, there might be 1 or 2 3 stars in there, but like there are a lot of people who argue that like you don't need to read the Fitz books if you don't want to, which definitely I feel is kind of valid, although I feel like it would be kind of weird if you went into the Rainwild Chronicles without at least having read the Live Ship Traders. But I definitely think that the Live Ship Traders can be read on its own, although I would only really advise it if you were only ever going to read just the Live Ship Traders, which I don't know why you would do that if you enjoyed it. But anyway, so there's people who think that you can just read all of the Fitz books and nothing in between, and some people who think you can just like dip in and out of the series. I would disagree, not necessarily because you're losing anything, like it doesn't make it an unenjoyable series if you haven't read the ones before it, but there is just so much that you just don't even comprehend if you haven't read the books before it. And this is like a tour of the entire 16 book series. There are moments in this already that have had me, okay, come here then. There are moments in this book that have already had me shook at like the 200 page point, and I still have like 600, just under 600 pages of this book to go, and I'm already loving it because there's so much going on that I just really didn't expect, especially kind of what's unfolding now. I will say that the secondary perspective in here is remaining to be less interesting than the Fitz perspective. What Fitz in here, it's just, I don't want to say anything about it, but there's just some of my favorite elements and favorite people from the entire realm of the Eldlings in this book, and I'm having a great time because in a lot of ways this is the first time that Fitz has really interacted with a lot of elements of the realm of the Eldlings that was kind of outside of his main perspective, which is the only way that I can really touch upon it while I'm still being vague. So I'm real happy that I'm reading this, even though I know that's not going to last, and by the time I get to the end of it I'm going to be devastated. But my aim for today is to get to the page 316 mark, and then I'm going to be picking up something new, but at this point I don't actually know what that's going to be. I'm essentially just choosing between Her Soul for Revenge and All of Our Demise, whatever the Amanda Foodie and Christine Lynn Herman book is called. And originally I was going to go straight into Her Soul for Revenge, but now I'm feeling not necessarily romanced out, but like I'm not craving romance, and I know that I do quite frequently crave romance, so I don't want to waste the romance on a time when I'm not actively craving it. And I'm feeling fantasy. I don't know, I've been in a little bit of a fantasy slump where I'm not gravitating towards like the big, not that the Amanda Foodie book is big like meaty fantasy, but I've definitely been markedly avoiding them and moving towards like lighter reads and a lot of romance. And I'm feeling very much now like I kind of want to read some fantasy, so I might take advantage of that and pick up that. And then that's a duology done as well, which would be really handy. Anyway, I just really knocked my tripod. But I was about to say that I've had a little bit of a chill day today. I pretty much worked a half day this morning, and then I went out early this afternoon to pick up a few bits that I needed for tomorrow, and then I spent the rest of the afternoon finishing Magnolia Parks. But I needed to nip out to get some stuff because I'm going to my dad's wedding tomorrow, which is going to be a good time. It feels kind of surreal, you know, and I'm really happy for my dad and everything, so like no hard feelings or anything in that regard, but it feels kind of weird to me because like I miss my mum, you know? So I'm expecting to have a great time tomorrow, and like I said, there's absolutely no sadness or bitterness aside from me missing my mum on my part, and I'm expecting to have a really, really good time. But it's just, it feels like a really weird thing. Like I never thought that I would ever be attending my dad's wedding, you know what I'm saying? But it's also been just generally a long time. The last wedding that I went to was pre-pandemic, so I'm excited just for the event, because we all know everyone loves a piss up after a wedding, am I right? But that means that I probably won't get any reading done tomorrow because the wedding is at midday and I don't expect to stay sober for very long. But I do have sprints on Sunday, which I'm excited for in terms of getting reading done, but also a little bit nervous about in case I have a hangover. I don't usually drink a lot anymore to the point where I get a hangover, but it's a wedding, so anything can happen. Very, very nearly running late, but I just wanted to pop in and show you guys my outfit for the wedding. This bag is an old lemon bag that I never thought would go with anything again, and it's not great with this, but it's all I had. But yeah, she scrubs up well. It's a miracle.
Could you come over and say
Hello? No, I don't know what to. We've made it home.
Eventually.
The wedding was a success.
Success.
They got married.
They were married, yeah.
I'm very drunk. What are you?
Sober.
Very sober. He drives.
Designated driver.
And he bought chips. And I have to go to bed. Sprints tomorrow. Did I tell you that?
Nah, I just read it in your Discord.
I've got sprints to go tomorrow.
Yeah.
I need to floss.
Go on then.
And I'm not entirely sure I'm not going to be sick.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a mystery. He's gonna push that door open.
And Bree's also drunk because she threw somebody's vodka tonic on the floor and I started to lick it. But yeah, I will see you in another life. This vlog is ending tomorrow. I don't know how much content I will have because I can't read. That's the tea. That's the tea. You've been watching this channel for 5 years.
No, it's over.
And now I tell you, I can't read. It's been a good day, but I'll see you on another one. Hello. Long time no see. I am sober now. Yesterday it wasn't a write-off actually, because on Saturday night I had an ibuprofen, 2 ibuprofen, and downed a bottle of water. So when I woke up yesterday morning, didn't have a headache, didn't really feel sick. I just had that kind of like general rough feeling that you get when you've had a evening of quite heavy alcohol consumption. So I'm essentially just here to wrap this vlog up. I haven't read a great deal. It's currently the 12th and the first 12 days of September have been a little bit of a wash in terms of reading, but I mean, fingers crossed things pick up towards the second half of the month. I did do sprints for like 5 hours yesterday as well. Because of the slight hangover feeling, I didn't actually read much, but I'm now around 340-ish pages I think into Assassin's Fate, which I actually really need to obviously pick up the pace on that, because I now have 500 pages to read before the live show on Sunday, and as you can tell, it's been very slow progress. And I did also start All of Our Demise, I think. Why can I never remember the name of that book? But I am only 7 pages into it, so there isn't actually much point me talking about it here. But that does bring us to the end of this vlog. Next week's vlog is going to be just a standard weekly vlog like this, bit of a variety vlog. And hopefully I'm going to read a whole bunch of stuff. But right now I really want to install Dreamlight Valley, which is not good because like I said, I have quite a bit of reading to do and I haven't been doing a lot of reading so far this month. But we will see how that goes. Do stay tuned for next week's vlog if you are at all interested in anything that I've just said. But aside from that, guys, I do hope you've enjoyed this vlog. If you've made it this far, if you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.